Hey guys, we just came back from the movie seeing Fant4stic, and so we're going to talk about and say what we think about the movie. So, let's start with the easiest thing, the actors.
I think the casting was good. I liked the actors. All the actors in the film were, good and respected actors. I thought they did good with the lines they were given, because some of the lines were just... The writing was just poor and stuff like that, but I thought the actors were the best part.
What was the actress's name?
Kate Mara.
She was either the best or the second best of the cast.
Yeah.
Miles Teller, he's good. He was great in Whiplash. In this, obviously his lines weren't that good, but I don't think he played it off that well. I think they tried to do like the Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man, like the nervous nerd.
Yeah.
But he was just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. He was kind of quiet almost the entire movie.
Yeah. Well, I just typed in the Fantastic Four, and it said Fantastic Four got so bad that Miles Teller and the director Josh Trank nearly beat each other up.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Bell. I love Jamie Bell, but he didn't have anything to do in this.
No, he didn't.
When he became the Thing, was that his voice as the Thing?
No, it wasn't. It was like his voice put through a filter, pretty much.
Okay, because basically right after he becomes the Thing, he has nothing to do.
And he didn't have anything to do with the whole movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was the beginning. Well, in the beginning, when it's him, I liked him. He was good. He's sort of small for Ben Grimm, but he was good.
I like how in the trailer they said he's the muscle. He's like barely more ripped than Reed.
Yeah. That was surprising, too, because like when they show Reed stretched out and stuff like that, he's like actually pretty ripped. Like, not ripped, but he was pretty...
Yeah, tone. And there will be some slight spoilers. I'm not going to say like everything that happens, but we want to refer to things that did happen in the movie. And then Michael B. Jordan, in movies and shows, he always plays like a fun character.
Mm-hmm.
In this, he plays Johnny Storm, one of the most fun and like likable superheroes in Marvel. In this, he was like so serious.
Yeah, they didn't make Johnny Storm like
he was serious and angry.
Yeah,
I don't know why, because Chris Evans in the original, he played off a very good Johnny Storm, like fun.
Well, Johnny Storm and Peter Parker, aren't they like best friends?
Yeah, they're best friends. But in this, like Johnny Storm was like so angry all the time.
Yeah, so you have Michael B. Jordan, who's like known for that kind of character. In Chronicle, he's sort of like the lighthearted guy.
Chronicle, he basically played like Johnny Storm.
Yeah. Well, it's not in everything, but in a lot of stuff that he does, he's, the fun.
Yeah, not everything. Most of the time, he is like that fun character.
But in this one, they just made Johnny mad.
Yeah.
And there's parts where like he's hanging out with people, but that's only for like a second, and then he gets mad again, or you just don't see him.
Yeah, because there's the scene when they fight Victor Von Doom, and then when Doom gets like knocked out of the air, Johnny's like, "Did you kill him?" Like really angry. I'm like, Johnny would never act like that. The casting was good, but the
characters
performances, and the characters wasn't like nothing to brag about. And
the thing with the characters is when a superhero movie comes out, you can clearly see that character that's in the movie is the same character and you like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when it came to these characters, before they get their powers, they're just like they could be anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It could have been any movie up until they got their powers, because it wasn't like Steve Rogers, like he was Steve Rogers, Captain America, before he became Captain America.
Obviously, we don't like read a lot of comics, especially Fantastic Four, but we do know some characteristics of each of the members. And like you just said, they didn't really seem like the characters at all. Because Sue,
it was pretty much the first half of the movie is pretty much any science movie.
Yeah.
And the characters are pretty much any character in a science movie. There's like nothing separating the characters in this movie from another movie. Like you couldn't tell it was Reed Richards and all those people.
Pretty much. And this is based on the Ultimate Comics, and we've never read them, so we can't say how accurate they are. And the dimension thing, it was more unique and cooler than just going to outer space and getting powers, so that was cool. But other than that, there wasn't much to go off of to make it more unique, really.
Well, even the different dimension sort of gets lost in the movie.
Yeah.
It's the main focus in the first half, and then the last half, the third act of the movie, the first act and the third act. but then in the middle, which is like a really long part, you sort of forget about it, and it becomes, oh, they have powers, and we need to figure it out and all that stuff. But it's like it starts off they're trying to get there, and in the middle they just forget about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we're going back.
Yeah. So before we get like more into the actual movie, what did you think of the special effects?
I thought you could definitely tell they're reshoots.
Yeah.
Because there's some that look really good.
Yeah.
Like even like one particular, there's like one scene they get on the planet, and then when they arrive and they stepped out of their pod the first time, it looked like they were stepping out and there's a green screen projecting an image.
I remember.
And then the camera turns around and it shows them walking out, and then you could tell that was...
Right when they get out, I looked to Elijah, I'm like, yeah, that's obvious green screen. Then it goes to a wide shot, I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then it goes to them again, like, okay, that's obvious green screen again. It was so back and forth on good effects and bad effects. And then there was a scene where Reed is fighting soldiers in the forest, and even that was like such obvious green screen. Like, why? It's a forest. What do you need to do such a weird green screen? The effects for the Thing, I thought were pretty cool.
When I first saw the Thing, I didn't really know how to feel about it, but when in the movie, when I saw the pictures or the first trailer, I thought he was just like a normal sized guy that was just rock. But he was a lot bigger, and he actually looked really good. I liked him. Yeah,
and Sue's powers, they looked alright.
I don't know how I felt about Johnny's, though.
Johnny's, the thing is, I don't think it was improved much over the original Fantastic Four films. In fact, I think maybe the past films look better.
That's why I thought. Because with this one, it's just like the flames are around him. They're not on him.
You have like basically a black silhouette with flames around it.
And you couldn't even tell the flames were there unless you looked around. It was just a...
But the other Fantastic Four, you actually did see the flames around him. And then Reed's, I think they looked a lot better than the original movie, but even then, there were times like the physics look really weird. I get it's like his arms like rubber, or his entire body's like rubber, but it looks so odd, like when he was moving and shifting.
Yeah, I thought this one did a lot better job with the fighting, him actually using his powers and fighting in the other one. Like he was like how he dodged bullets and stuff like that. I thought it showed a better way of fighting.
Yeah, I thought it was a more unique way of fighting, but the actual like movements of the punches and the dodging, I thought that looked really off.
Yeah, I thought the first time you see him stretching when he's in the lab and you first that looked good, and especially when he started retracting, you can see his muscles and stuff.
But then, like the first time, like you said, when he dodges a bullet really quick, it's such a fast movement. It looked off to me.
He looked like a rubber band, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess. So we'll talk about the actual movie here. It was like such a serious take on Fantastic Four, but it's like such a fun and dumb concept, and they kind of played off that in comics. But this was like so serious.
Yeah. And I could see them taking a more serious step towards it, but it was like 3 different movies. It was like a serious science type movie where they're trying to figure out how to get to the other planet, and then they get there and they come back, and then it turns into sort of like an anti-government sort of thing where like they're working with the government, but some of them are like, no, we can't do it.
And then it also felt like a superhero thriller because when they first get their powers, it's kind of scary in a way.
It was taking inspiration from Jeff Goldblum's film The Fly, I guess, which is like a horror kind of sci-fi thing.
Because when Johnny first gets his powers, he can feel like he's on fire, and that's scary.
Especially when you see Reed, it shows him all stretched out, and it was sort of done in a weird sort of not grotesque, but like
it was
a very serious way.
Yeah, when I saw it, like, man, this is dark the way they're doing it.
Yeah, and how Ben, and you know, I could see that, I could understand that because I think in the comics and the cartoons and movies and stuff like that, the way they transform, it's sort of like comic book like but it showed I think a more realistic way how people would have handled it and what would have happened. But it did that, and then it just left it there. It went to a place where it was like a dark and scary thriller, and then it went to the working with the government. They're like a team now.
Yeah, it's like you said, it feels like a lot of different movies. You could tell because Fox did a lot of weird editing. Because I heard Josh Trank wasn't allowed in the editing booth.
Yeah,
when they worked on
they locked him out.
Yeah, and then Josh Trank, like all the controversy with his acting in the studio.
Yeah,
and then the reshoots. So it feels like even Josh Trank said that Fox completely like ruin his vision of what he wanted from the film.
I find weird because Fox, maybe they have a history of this, but when it comes to superhero films, they usually turn out well. X-Men.
Yeah.
The X-Men series has been really good, and I guess they've been really happy with it. But then when this one came out, it sounded like Fox was just terrible and
that's why it was
involving themselves.
That's why it was so weird because Fantastic Four was, not very good. The first two X-Men were great. The third one, fell a little, and that's when they kind of had a decline with X-Men Origins Wolverine. Then they had X-Men First Class.
Didn't make it for a while, but then they brought everyone back. And
they did great again with the Wolverine, X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past. So that's why we thought this would be another great movie. But for some reason, they kind of messed up on this one. I don't know what happened.
It just sounds like they got too involved.
kind of what Sony did with Amazing
Spider-Man. I think
Spider-Man.
people who have worked on X-Men, I don't know if this is true, but to have people that worked in X-Men, were they involved in this movie? Because I think
one of the writers, I believe, was working on it.
Which I don't understand, because you got, and I guess Josh Trank is more of like an independent film kind of guy, like a smaller film kind of guy. So maybe that's why they didn't have faith in his vision. They didn't like what he was doing, and they wanted it to be this big thing, like what Marvel is doing and stuff like that.
It just feels like so many things went into it that messed up. Like it wasn't just one or two things; it was multiple things.
What Fox was trying to do, they were trying to make a movie that was serious and good, but they made 3 different movies and sort of pushed them together. If they would have focused on like one point, like if they wanted like a science sort of film, like The Beginning was, and they went with that, I'm sure it would have been a good film.
Yeah.
If they wanted a sort of more of like a thriller kind of superhero movie, I'm sure it would have been good if they focused on that. But it was like they filmed, changed their mind of what they wanted it to be, and then changed their mind again.
Yeah. So we're gonna end this in a minute.
We're going to talk about Doom.
Oh yeah, Doom was awful.
Doom was bad. So as Victor Von Doom, he wasn't even that good of a character. It was like he's here.
He was crazy for some reason.
Yeah, he was crazy.
And then he gets powers, and he's gone for a long time, and then he's even more crazy when he comes back.
And he just looks awful too.
Yeah, basically, I told Elijah, he looks like a glowing zombie with a long scarf on his head.
No, I looked at you in the theater. I was like, we put the hood on. I was like, that looks terrible. And you're like, what? And then like they show the widescreen and show him in his hood. And you're like, oh yeah, it looks awful.
Yeah, he did not look like Doom at all, really.
And he was super. I never really understood Doom. Like I didn't understand. I thought he was a rich and probably a good fighter, but I didn't know I'm sure he had some powers because he was with them, but I didn't know the extent of his powers. And this one, they made him super powerful.
Yeah, his powers were very vague in this film.
Yeah.
It was like, he's
it was
powerful.
Like he can control everything pretty much.
I don't know, but it also felt like it was embarrassed to be a superhero film.
Yeah. If you're going to make a superhero film, make a superhero film. But this one was like, they started one, moved to a thriller, and then they started another one, and then it was just weird. They tried to make it so many different things. I looked up his abilities, and apparently he can do everything. He's a skilled scientist and sorcerer, and
none of the characters were interpreted very well in this film.
He can pretty much do everything everything the Fantastic Four can. He can fly, he can generate force fields, and mind transfer. I don't know what that means. So he's pretty much all powerful.
So we're getting this right now. Basically, none of the characters were interpreted well. The effects are like mixed for some reason, and it feels like a bunch of different hands in this movie.
And Kate Mara had different hair every time she was on screen.
That was her best superpower. She changed her hair like every 2 or 3 seconds.
I could understand if she was all blonde at the beginning and then it sort of went
it was
regular, but it was just awful.
Yeah.
It was different hairstyles and different haircuts and hair colors throughout the movie.
Yeah, so we're getting this right now. We didn't think it was very good.
No.
Not as bad as people say, but still wasn't very good.
It was not that good. Watch it. It's a superhero movie, but
yeah. So that's it for now, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.
See ya.